Went in, I was drafted in 1950 out of college, but I beat the draft by 14 days and joined the Air Force. And they graduated me without taking the final exams. And because I didn't want to go in the Army, I wanted to go in the Air Force. And that was December the 14th, 1950. And I went to flight school and became a pilot, graduated from flight school in 1953. And you start out as what they call a buck pilot, and after so many years and so many hours, you become a senior pilot. And then after so many more years and hours, you become a command pilot, and that's the highest rating you can get. I was a command pilot when I retired.
I enlisted in the Army in 1953. Me and three of my friends decided we were going to be paratroopers. And it was all on a lark, so we all enlisted together. And three of us made it through jump school eventually. And so did I. And then I re-enlisted after my 3-year tour. And during that time, I went to OCS and got commissioned. And I stayed in the Army for 26 years and retired as a lieutenant colonel.
I went into the military in 1963, into the Air Force. And I was tested for type of work that I would be best at in the service. And I worked on jet engines and the engines that start up the airplanes. I stayed in the military until 1984.
Colonel Tibbetts in 2002, he gave a briefing, and then I assume we were all relieved of security about the atomic bomb. They only made 3, and they dropped 2, and the third one was in Idaho, and they gave us the third one to train to drop, but we never did drop it. Security was so great until when they would bring the bomb out, they would have it covered with everything it was undercover, you couldn't see it. And they put curtains and things around the bomb bay of the airplane so nobody could see it when they loaded it. And security was quite something. But after 1953 and 54, they got the B-47, and they couldn't use the atomic bomb, so they went to nuclear bombs. And so they got rid of the B-29s. I flew the last B-29, operational B-29 from Smoke Hill Air Force Base to Arizona, put in the graveyard.
And I was with the 4th Armored Division and had an excellent tour in Germany. Everything, I had a tremendous job. I was a battery commander, I was an executive officer. It was just a very good, satisfying job. And I did it well, and was commended for it, etc. Got a little medal. And they called me one day and said they had bad news for me. And I said, oh, what? And they said, you're going to Vietnam. And I said, great. We were at Fort Bragg doing some training for Vietnam. They said, we'll let you jump one time and you can get jump pay for the time you're here. So I did. That was my last jump. I think I had 48 or 49.
We had 16 airplanes, which the engines is what I was in charge of. And we would take a plane out of service and just go through it and make sure everything was A-okay. Our planes were 34 seconds out of Russia. They would fly us away from that area. And I'm not sure where we went. A lot of things were highly classified where we were going. But then we would we had actually no tools to take apart an airplane, and they would turn around and put us on another airplane and fly us out of there. And a few times we went to near Alaska or Hawaii was all over, and they flew that airplane to where we had to work on it. We were lucky we never actually had to send them off. We got called a couple of times to go on alert, but they located where those airplanes, what they were looking at wasn't heading for the United States. And that's what we did for about 2.5 years. And it was a scary time. I had something go wrong with my head. I had a brain surgery twice. So for a while I wasn't able to do very much. I couldn't move my hand. But what's great being in these facilities, we have classes so that for exercise. And they taught me how to keep opening and closing my hand. And my hand I couldn't write my name with my hand, but eventually within a little over a year, I'm coloring pictures. I brought some of the pictures that I did afterwards, after I started to get my hands working again. When we get new residents in and I see that they have handicaps, I tried to tell them, I said, they're going to show you how to use your hand, work your hands and stuff like that. Do it. I said, I couldn't write and I couldn't color with my pencils. And I try to help people do something that will be better for themselves.
I was sent to school for lip reading. I only understand about 40% in my left ear and 50% in my right, because if you say something, words like train and rain, I can't tell the difference between them. And so then on that basis, they qualified me for 10% disability of hearing. They were damaged when I was flying jets. Back when I first started flying jets, they didn't use protective thing. They didn't give us anything to protect the hearing. And on the flight line, you walk around those jet engines running, they just ruin your ears.
But you lose friends. That was the big thing. You lose friends in the Army, and they come and they go. By and large, our friends in the Army are friends for life, and they've stayed in touch. And as we fade away, there's very few of us left. But while you got them, you party together, you campaign together, you do everything together. I recall seeing about 12 or 15 at a couple of activities we've had for Veterans Day.
I wouldn't have joined ever if war hadn't been going on. They drafted me. But since I was drafted and I did go, I recognized the real good part of being in service and working for the government.
Everything I know, everything I have is related to the service and is a result of the service. I recommend they go to military service at least for the 2 or 3 years that's currently available. And it is the greatest developer of character, and they teach you discipline. That's the big word. Discipline, that you learn discipline, and it fits you for the rest of your life.
I liked working on the airplanes and accomplishing what I was supposed to accomplish. The maintenance people were his most important people to him with this airplane. I believe in that also, that they rely on us to keep the planes running. and that's how I felt about it. I did what I thought was the best way for the United States to accomplish the mission.
I don't want to think that I'm great at all, because everybody, it takes all of us to do, we're a team. And everybody from the cooks and the dishwashers and everybody that's in service, they all part of support everything, and it takes a team. And very few people really realize the service that government employees and military people give. They just, we just sacrificed our life everywhere we go. I never thought I'd live through it. I thought I'd die in an airplane, but I didn't. I was fortunate enough that I made it.